After hours. We got about 3 minutes left here in the fourth quarter, but we figure we get started early here with Shane, Scoop, and Brandon. How are you guys doing on this fine Thursday night?
Doing all right, boss. How about you?
Good stuff.
Boss.
Wow.
I guess. I
We're using
guess.
us.
I don't know. You're the one who introduces us and closes it down, so I guess it's you. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. Today is really special. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Commanders and Packers, and of course, Brandon and Scoop will do our traditional remembrance of 9/11. So let's get to the game first. Shane, I'll start with you. Brandon and Scoop and myself on Sunday talked a lot about how good this Packers team is with Micah Parsons and how much he's helping elevate this Packers roster. What are you noticing?
yeah, I mean, it's this was already a really good defense last year. I mean, not really good, but it was top of the pack. No pun intended. Wow, why did that happen? Anyways, but because when you look at them last year, I mean, they really had a solid back seven, and then they still do now, obviously. It's just the thing that they were missing was really a consistent edge rush. I mean, they had the guys in the middle, but it was kind of the on the outside there, and I mean, Parsons, at least for now, gets you that. He's I mean, we'll see if he does his typical disappearing halfway through the season, but at least for now, he gives you that edge at where I mean that's the most important position on defense by far is that that edge rusher. So I think now it's just a very complete defense all around, and I think Green Bay overall, I've just been very impressed with them because they've obviously been these franchises from these smaller markets and these kind of blue collar cities like Green Bay, Kansas City, Cleveland, Detroit, whatever, they're not popular free agent spots, just because, I mean, you think about the NFL, it's mostly guys in their early mid 20s. They don't, they want to go live in Miami or LA. They don't want to go live in Green Bay, Wisconsin, which I personally, I wouldn't mind it, but hey, that's me. So, either way, so that, these are teams that really have to build through the draft and build their team up that way. And Green Bay has done that for a long time, but the last couple of years, they've really been aggressive at getting free agents. I mean, now we're seeing, guys like Josh Jacobs, which, I mean, like 10 years ago, a star running back like Josh Jacobs, I never would have imagined signing in Green Bay for his, second contract. So, him, Xavier McKinney, getting him from New York, now Micah Parsons, obviously, it's, stuff like that. It's just they build this team and then they just kind of fill in these pieces with guys like those. And
yeah, definitely.
Now we're seeing the full effects of it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Scoop, do you have anything to add more from what Shane said and what we talked about on Sunday?
I first of all, I obviously very much agree with a lot of what Shane said. I think also, some of it I think I also said on Sunday with regard to, this being a team that kind of has harkened back to a little bit of what the NFL and I think a lot of sports used to be before it was a lot of, big, player movement, a lot of trades and free agents. I mean, even as recently as a few years ago, we weren't seeing a lot of trades in the NFL. If there was movement, it was mostly free agency. The big trading usually, or kind of really the furthest back I could think of for like the way that we see it now, I think was the Detroit Rams trade is kind of like the one that really I think started a lot of it. or maybe the Odell trade, or things like that. But it's really only been the last 5 or so years that we've seen a lot of major trades happening, of which this certainly qualifies. But yeah, to Green Bay's credit, I mean, a lot of people were looking at Jordan Love, and it was like, is this guy ever going to even see an NFL field? They thought that a lot of people thought that they wasted that first round pick, and one thing or another. But Green Bay just seems to be a team that even when they make moves that get criticized, more often than not, at least it seems, Gutekunst and company seem to get it right. And I think this was a really exciting opportunity for them to. I don't even want to say put themselves back on the map necessarily, because I don't think they were ever off the map, but to show that even if it's not the way that they typically play, they should be considered formidable at times on the way things are now as well, which in my opinion makes them even more of a dangerous organization going forward.
Yeah, and Brandon, this looks like one of the most complete rosters in the NFL, at least maybe the most complete we've seen so far through 1 week and Thursday night.
Yeah, through the first 2 weeks, I mean, they just completely shut down everything that Detroit did last week, and then you face another tough offense and another tough, talented quarterback in Jaden Daniels, and he had nothing to throw to all night. The receivers were completely covered. I mean, they put pressure on him for a majority of the night. They kind of just beat that. I mean, it feels like every time the ball was snapped, the Packers are just bull rushing their way straight through that offensive line. And just defensive. I mean, just offensively, it's weird. We talk about their receiving core, how they had a bunch of nobodies, but it's funny. A lot of these guys through the first 2 weeks are making a ton of plays. How long that'll last, I don't know. We'll see. Because remember, Washington, their defense was, their pass defense was considered a top 5 unit, but when looking at the games, you could tell they weren't that good. So, their pass defense was overrated, so they got kind of exposed tonight. But I mean, just looking at. I mean, what, this is the second straight week now that that Green Bay has put up 27 points. So, that's usually in most cases when you're putting up close to 30 a week, you're going to win a lot of football games. So, I mean, they have 2 tight ends that can catch the ball at will, and Tucker Kraft killed my fantasy team tonight. He's not on my fantasy team, obviously. He went against it and just murdered my fantasy team. But
get yourself some Kraft mac and cheese, baby.
But having a star like Micah Parsons, look at this. Here we go. There's another big stat. They just showed it. First time allowing under 250 yards in first 2 games since 1995 for that Packers defense.
Amazing.
I mean, they're just absolutely like. The first 2 weeks. I mean, here's the thing: we said last year through the first 2 weeks, the Saints were the best team in football because they steamrolled the competition and they scored 40 points a week. It just fell apart. So with this, the only thing I can say so far that I'm really impressed by is it's not even Toyota-thon yet, and Jordan Love is smoking hot out there. But here we go. That's another thing too. The Packers had a short week, and usually on a short week, both teams look sluggish. But the Packers look like they didn't miss a beat in this game. This is just. I mean, it's more dominant than what the Saints did last year because the Saints, I mean, they scored a lot of points, but I mean, they really weren't playing, really tough competition. I mean, the Packers for 2 straight weeks are facing 2 teams that they're probably going to end up, they could end up seeing in January. So. It's really impressive that they really held both of them to 18 or less points, and they just completely shut down their offenses while their own offense is just rolling. Like Josh Jacobs getting the tough yards, but also getting touchdowns when needed. Like they're looking like a very complete team from front to back.
Here's the Browns next month, here's the Packers next month of football. Browns, Cowboys on Sunday night. Bengals and then Cardinals.
They should win 3 out of 4. Really, they should win all 4. But
I think that's 4 wins right there, unless something crazy happens.
And unless Joe Burrow
Yeah,
They're
unless
on the road
Burrow
for
and
all of them
Chase
except the
Higgins
Packers.
go crazy. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Brandon. Yeah, they're on the road in all four except against the Bengals. Go ahead. Sorry.
That makes sense. Um, yeah, I mean, it should be 4, although it could be 3 if Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and that offense go ape. But I doubt it. The Packers defense is really good so far through the first 2 weeks, and even last year they were really good. So yeah,
Yeah.
that should be 4. Well, hey, could be a 6-0 start, and I think that's and at the very worst you're 5-1. That's a hell of a start.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
absolutely.
like, yeah, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase could do that, but it's also like, okay, who on their offensive line is going to stop Micah Parsons and
Yeah,
Rashawn Gary?
yeah.
So I mean, they might have to move Trey Hendrickson over to offensive line or something like. So, yeah, but I see the Saints comparison. I mean, because they had that hot start last year, but like that was against what, the Panthers and the
That's what I'm
Cowboys,
saying.
who were both terrible, and but the difference here, well, first of all, there's that, but also just like the Saints, I mean, look at what they had versus what Green Bay has. They have a proven head coach. They have a franchise quarterback.
A much better roster overall.
Yeah, a very complete roster, a front office that knows what they're doing. So they have all that going for them. But it is, I mean, it is only 2 weeks in. You never know what could happen. So, yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't have much on the Commanders. Does anyone have anything to say on the Commanders? I got nothing to say about them yet through 2 weeks.
Can I jump in real quick?
Of course.
I do want to say that I don't think it's been said on the show yet, but it broke about 10 minutes ago. The Commanders have confirmed it's an Achilles injury for help me out here, Austin Eckler.
For Eckler? Yeah, yikes. More Bill, I guess. But yeah, that's all I got for the Commanders. Not much through 2 weeks.
Is it just me, or it's like, are they really struggling, or they haven't opened up the playbook yet?
I think it's the second one. I think the playbook has been opened up
because it's a lot. Like the Packers are letting it fly. I mean, they've always been a team that let it fly, but like they're letting it fly. But through the first 2 weeks, the Commanders are literally just checking the ball down every chance they get. Like, it just seems like it's real basic, like, route concepts where they're just saying, they're just telling guys, hey, we're going to run a bunch of curl routes or a bunch of just in-breaking routes, or we're just going to have, guys basically running, basically post routes down the field, and hey, if no one's open, just check it down. That's kind of what that offense feels like right now. So, I don't know, I'm like,
yeah.
I don't, cause last year this offense didn't look like this, and this year I'm like, they look like they're just holding back, like they're kind of like they're afraid to let loose just yet. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, Shane, anything on there?
I mean, last year it was definitely much more of a, like a spread kind of air raid, so to speak.
Yeah.
Whereas this year it's very much the opposite. It's a lot of screens and just like slants, hitches, that kind of thing, which is, I mean, it's weird because it's like if that other stuff works for your personnel, like why abandon it? But at the same time, I mean, if you think about it, in the last 2 weeks, I mean, they going up against Green Bay and the New York Giants. Those are two really good defenses. So, I mean, I could see that playing a role or being more conservative, and just the fact that it's still the beginning of the season. But I would imagine. I mean, who knows? But I would think that now, we will start to see them open up a little bit more and kind of go back to what they're good at, and what we know they can do. But you know, I mean, it's anybody's guess, really.
Like,
Yeah.
is it just me, or it's like not even like? Do you guys notice the same thing too tonight? Where I don't get why they weren't making any adjustments to the blitz ever, and why they just kind of were just letting guys like walk right through the offensive line, like they're going empty set. So there's no running back to pick up an extra block. So you're just leaving Jaden Daniels on an island back there just to throw to nobody because even then the routes are boring, basic, and vanilla. So it's like, what are you hoping to accomplish by just leaving him back there to die? Like,
Yeah, that's the other thing. Jaden Daniels looks very. He looks like very. What's the word? Like
Protective.
he looks like he's not. He looks like he's not all there. You know what I mean? He's kind of going through the motion slow, just sort of, you know, kind of almost like, I don't want to say half-assing it, but just, I don't know. It seems like his mind is elsewhere. And that's, I mean, that's totally just an assumption based off his body language and kind of just the way he's going through the game. But, you know, I think it's just weird when, you know, you think about Washington. It's like you got a top probably 5-6 offensive line in the league now after getting Tunzel. Like, you know, so you can't figure out how to block guys. Like, you know, and I get it. Defenses are more complex now. You get disguised blitzes from random people, but still, it's like, come on, what are we doing, guys? So, I don't know. It's yeah, I mean they're 1-1, and they'll be fine, you know, but they definitely are not, at least so far. They don't seem to be the same kind of team as they were last year.
Yeah. Scoop, any final thoughts on Washington?
I think Coach Hanson over here, I think pretty much just kind of laid it down better than I can. I think that you know, I didn't pick up honestly on what he mentioned about the you know, going through the motions or, you know, all that. But I again I was a big proponent and advocate last year for Jaden Daniels. I think he's gonna be a big time quarterback in this league. I think he's gonna be a competitor in the NFC East for you know, years to come. But yeah, it's not been a particularly illustrious start for this team so far, and I think it's kind of early, but we'll see we'll see soon enough whether that was a product of, you know, playing maybe less favorable competition to start the season, or if maybe this is a team that was not quite going to live up to the hype that maybe they got from some people, myself included, this offseason.
Yeah. All right, let's go to games of the week. I'm actually voiding I guess 4 games technically, but I am saying that you're not allowed to pick Eagles-Chiefs because that's the obvious pick. You're not allowed to pick Falcons-Vikings. I don't know why you would. And I don't know why you would want to pick any of the Monday night games. So out of those 4 that I just took away, who do you guys have as games of the week here?
I have to check the schedule. I can't remember. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. I'm looking at the schedule right now because unfortunately I can't memorize 15 games.
This is some real slim pickings here. Jesus.
Yeah, the obvious choice is obviously Eagles-Chiefs, but it's obvious, so I'm just saying don't take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was rude, but
No, I agree it was rude, but hey.
But yeah, no, it's all.
Okay, so no Monday night, no Eagles.
Okay,
Chiefs.
I got mine.
Go ahead, Shane.
Actually, do I?
I'm looking at the games and I can't.
Okay, Scoop, please start.
All right. Well, I think last week I gave one that was going to surprise a lot of people, and I think I'm going to do the same thing this week. But I'm sorry, but I've never seen just got wake up. I've never seen a game that had almost a 2 touchdown spread or line that was quite as one sided as people. So I'm thinking for betting purposes in particular, that's 11 and a half is a lot of points to get, even for Baltimore versus Cleveland. I'm sorry that to me smells like rivalry games are always more, are usually more competitive, even for Cleveland, than people believe. In fact, the last couple of years, some of their biggest upsets have come in division games. So I'm not necessarily saying that I think Cleveland's going to win that game, obviously, but I'm sorry that something smells weird about that 11 and a half points for me for Baltimore versus Cleveland. Cleveland is a team that, pardon me, they had a couple guys questionable this week in Ward and Conklin. I understand that. They still had according here, they still had one of the higher rated defenses coming into the season, and even after week one, and they are, excuse me, and when they're particularly healthy, you look at the defensive front line that they have there across the line. They don't just have Garrett. They got Graham, they got Collins, they got McGuire. On the defensive side of the ball, at the corner side of things, Newsom and Ward. And last week, people said that they thought Baltimore's defense was not. In fact, Brendan, weren't you saying in particular you thought Baltimore's defense wasn't what you thought it was cracked up to be, if I remember correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, this is we know Cleveland's situation. We know that they were supposed to come in with and they may finish with the worst record in the league, but I really like their defense more than people are giving them credit for. I think that if Baltimore doesn't come correct, Cleveland still has they still got some nice guards up there in Batonio and Teller. I still like a couple of the other pieces on their line. Pochich, the center. They got a guy who had a really solid run grading game last week. Again, not sure that they're going to win necessarily, but keep an eye on that Cleveland-Baltimore game. I think that you may be getting a little bit sneaky with that 12-point line.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's a feisty one too. All right,
Cannot hear you,
Shayna. Wait, can you guys hear me at all? I bugged out.
Can anyone else not hear Rob?
I cannot hear Robert.
Hello.
Rob, you're muted, I think.
Hello. I'm not muted. Hello.
All right, I'll take over as the host now.
Hijack the show.
No, while he's figuring that out.
Hello.
While he's figuring that out, though, I'll continue. For my game of the week, I never would have imagined I had said this a week ago. I'm going to go Denver and Indy, because just for the simple fact that Denver had, I think they played not as good of a week one as we maybe thought, whereas Indy was fantastic. So, I kind of want to see how both teams bounce back and see if okay, for Indy, was that just a weird random thing, or are they legit? And not that this one game is going to tell us that, but I think it'll give us it'll start to give us a better idea of who they might be. So yeah, plus Peyton Manning Bowl, that's always fun. So yeah, that's.
Hear me now?
There you
Now
go.
I can, yes.
Yes. All right.
Phyllis Leda has returned.
Yeah. So so wait. Continue on. Your foot.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Continue on.
I do like the Indy and Broncos pick because, as you said, is it a fluke for Indy or is it something more exciting? I like that.
Thank you. I appreciate
that. Brandon, what do you have here?
I'm gonna be different from everybody else. I'm gonna say that if there's a caveat to this, if we get the same team we saw last week, this can be a good game. Give me Bills Jets.
I was gonna remember my second pick.
Nice.
Yeah, because if we get the Justin Fields from last week, especially against the Bills defense, it's not good. If we get the Justin Fields from last week, then we are in store for fireworks. We are in store for what could be a shootout. And I still like Brees Hall. I still like Garrett Wilson. I mean, as long as he's got those two in that lineup, on his offense, that's more than enough. He did damage with them last week against the Steelers, who are supposed to have a good defense, and he shredded them. And just like Josh Allen, he can take off and use his legs. So I mean, you must see both quarterbacks just take off. So if we get another good week of Justin Fields, that might end up being another game of the week. So
Yeah.
Bills Jets is it for me.
All right, you guys can still hear me, okay?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yep.
I will. I'll double up on the Seahawks. I'll go Seahawks Steelers. I'm actually quite excited for this one. Watching Aaron Rodgers again after what we saw against the Jets last week. I really like this matchup. I'm taking the Steelers, and again a close one, but I'm just really excited to see what the encore is for Aaron Rodgers at home there. Let's see. Do you guys want to guess the lines for a couple of the games you picked?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sure thing.
Okay. Seahawks Steelers against the line.
Steelers -6.
I'll go one less. I'll say Steelers -5.
Scoop?
I don't know what that noise was. I'm sorry. I would say Steelers rather. I don't think it's gonna be that big. I'll say -2.
Steelers -3.5.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right. Colts Broncos.
Okay.
Ooh.
Broncos -3.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's really close. I'm gonna go one less again. Broncos -2.
Scoop?
I'm even gonna go less than that. Give me Broncos minus. I'll shave a half. Broncos -1.5.
Ding, ding, ding. 1.5.
Wow.
There we go. Okay. Brandon, kick us off with pot cookies game of the week.
Oh jeez. Well.
Are you gonna pick the game we're live streaming on Monday night? Chargers Raiders. Excuse me.
No,
because
no.
There's some potential there. Oh boy. There's 1, 2, 3 games.
You can't pick the Saints. So Niners Saints, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I mean, that's clearly the worst
think-
game here.
That's why I'm saying
I
if
think-
I can pick it, it's up there.
I think there's an even easier choice.
All right, go for it, Shane. What do you have?
Panthers Cardinals.
Yep, that's where I was looking first. Yeah.
I think the only other one you could maybe go with is I guess New York, Dallas, but at least that's a divisional game, so I don't know. It has
What
that going for it,
about Pats Dolphins?
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be a bad game.
I actually don't. The more I think about it,
Yeah.
I have a question for you all though.
Yeah.
Who are you taking in that game? Who'd you guys pick?
I picked the Patriots.
Probably, yeah.
Crap! I didn't put in my Lickum.
No, dang it! It's fine. It's fine.
You can still
just
pick the
keep
rest of the
putting
games
one-
this week. You just
You
can't
can
pick
still pick
tonight.
the rest of the
obviously.
games.
Okay.
I'm taking the Finns, but not very confidently. I'll just say that.
Yeah. I could see it
Yeah,
going either way.
I have no confidence in that. Scoop, what do you have for pot cookies?
For pot cookies, some people may find this game interesting, and fine. That's fine, obviously, but I just don't. I look at the Jaguars. My God, the Jaguars.
The
I am so sorry. Bengals Jaguars game. Oh my gosh! I promise I haven't taken any pot cookies today. But yeah, the Bengals Jaguars game. Again, not a fan of that Bengals team. Jaguars, I still need to see more into the season. And I look at that game, and the other thing too is that there are several games on here that actively compel me for some reason. And other than if I want to watch Travis Hunter, which I'm not saying that's a nothing burger, but other than that, I don't really see what draws me to watch this game in particular if I don't have a rooting interest.
I think that's
Yeah.
fair. Brandon, what are you taking?
I was like just like Shane. It's Panthers cards. I look at that game and I'm like, well, the Cardinals. I mean, listen, they won last week, but they look terrible while doing it. And then the Panthers are the Panthers, and there's nothing there to like. I mean, like I said, the Panthers gave away, their best receiver back to where he's going to finish his career. So they gave away Adam Thielen. I don't like anything they've got there at this point. I don't like anything really the Cardinals have except for Trey McBride. So honestly, I'm only watching that game because Trey McBride's my fantasy tight end. So other than that, I do not care. That game is not I'm like Mike Tomlin. We do not care. I don't about that game.
I'll go another week of taking the primetime game. I'll take Falcons Vikings. I kind of don't care about this, especially on national TV. If this was
sorry, I for some reason thought it was said that was a game we couldn't pick. So my bad.
No. You could pick it for pot cookies.
Just not game of the week, I think.
Just not game of the week.
My bad.
No, that's fine. I mean, I'll take it for the both of us, Scoop. This is a pretty bad prime time. The only thing is, if this was a 10 or 1 o'clock or 1 or 4 on the East Coast, I'd be fine. But the fact that this is a primetime game, I think more than likely we're going to start early on Sunday because I don't care. This is not a fun primetime game, like at all. It's just not. And then looking ahead to next Sunday night, it's not much better. It's Chiefs Giants next Sunday night. So, so it doesn't get better for Sunday Night Football.
Chiefs Giants. Oh my God. The only thing that could make that compelling is if they make Jackson Dart the starter going into that game, and I just watch him just get steamrolled. That's the only thing that could make that compelling.
Yeah. So we might all have to pick that one next week for pot cookies. All right, we'll do lines really quick here. Falcons Vikings guess the line.
I would hope we're not doing lines.
I was gonna say the same thing.
I thought it too.
Yeah. What's the game?
Falcons Vikings. Shane, you need to clip this whole segment.
I'll go Vikings minus 1.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Vegas.
I say with little confidence.
Yeah, I think Vegas is drinking the JJ Kool-Aid a little bit, so I'm going to say Vikings minus 3.
I can't. For some reason, I don't see them. I almost all these games I see end on like a and a half blank. So I'll say 3.5.
Ding, ding, ding! Scoop is on fire.
Oh shit!
Minnesota minus 3.5.
I have to surrender my crown this year. I hate that.
Fire. Panthers Cards against the line.
I apologize. I slipped there.
Cardinals minus 1.5.
You're just gonna keep 1.5 it so one of them hits. Oh man.
Well, this time I really feel it.
That's what they all say. Let me see. Oh, that game was ugly. I mean, because the Cardinals are at home, so they automatically get a little bit of an advantage, and the Panthers are kind of bad. You know what? I'm going to say it again. I'll say Cardinals minus 3. I'll say minus 3 again.
Scoop?
I hate to say it because I am a Bryce Young fan as a Bama fan, but I'm not seeing the reason to give the Panthers a lot of faith against the Cardinals in Arizona as much as I hate the Cardinals. Give me 5 5.5, 6.5, somewhere. Well, I have to pick a number, so I'll go
You
6.5.
Again, he gets it right. Cardinals minus 6.5.
No way.
He has to be looking.
You're not looking, right?
No.
It doesn't. I don't think he is.
Wait,
No, of course I'm not.
I realize this doesn't do anything. I'm sorry. Here,
No, I don't think. I don't think
Oh
you're
my
looking.
God.
No,
I'm sure
I'm
Three in
I'm
a row.
joking.
That's a
Okay.
record. All right, let's.
Yeah,
Let's.
Even I never did that. I've got. I mean, there was weeks where I got like 4 like at one time, but never never 3 in a row. Oh
Let's do
God.
Patriots Dolphins. Scoop, you guess first.
Yeah,
I guess
go
first. Patriots Dolphins. Okay. I don't know. Call it a field goal, like 2.5.
Okay, Brandon.
I'm always in the middle. Okay.
Wait. Scoop, 2.5 in favor of who?
Oh, sorry. I should have made that clear. Give me the teams again. No, I've short term.
Patriots
Pats,
Dolphins.
Patriots. No. Then yeah. Dolphins.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna go kind of low. I'll say that's such an ugly game.
It really is.
Oh Jesus, I'm not happy about it. But Dolphins minus 2.5.
Okay.
Or you know what? No, because Scoop picked that. I'm
No,
not.
I didn't.
I'm not.
I said. Didn't I say 1.5?
You said 2.5.
2.5.
I did. Oh, okay. 2.5. My bad.
You know what? I'll go a half less. I'll say Dolphins minus 2.
I'll say
Okay.
Patriots minus 3.
Oh my God. Dolphins minus 1.5.
Oh my God. You know what's funny? I was thinking it, but I'm like, okay. I'm like, there's no way it's gonna be 1.5. I'm like, maybe 2.5. Oh, man.
All right, let's finish up with Jaguars and Bengals.
Can I say my prayers first so I can get one? Please, because last week I did get one. I think 1 or 2 right. This so far, if this is the last one, I've gotten
This
none
is
of
the
them
last
right.
one.
Oh my God. Would you say
I'm gonna
what game is it?
Jags and Bengals.
I'm gonna say Bengals minus 2.
Oh please God. Can I go last on this one?
Yeah, Scoop, go ahead.
I'm gonna recuse myself from this one. When I looked up for Pot Cookies Game of the Week, I saw the line, so I don't want to
Okay,
be on
fine.
there.
Oh, thank God, there's a chance.
That's fine.
I'll go a little higher because I think Vegas loves Burrow and Chase and Higgins and Brown and all them. I'm gonna say Bengals minus. Oh, you know what? I'll say Bengals minus 3.5.
Ding, ding, ding! 3.5 Bengals.
Let's go. I think that one. Finally. Oh my God! Do you know how much it took for me to not say minus 4? I wanted to say minus 4 so bad.
You know, you guys want to do an early one? I'll give you guys one more. How about that? One more.
Okay.
Help
Okay.
yourself out. Chargers Raiders Monday night. The game we're gonna watch live.
Oh man,
Chargers minus 7.
it should be. I'll say. I mean, the Raiders play the division tough. Usually. I'll say Chargers minus. Nah, Chargers minus 4.5.
Scoop.
Let me think. I do think Chargers win, but like it was said, the Raiders play the division tough, and they're playing at home. 4.5 is a little much for me. All right. I said 2.5 last time, so I'll say 3.5 this time in favor of the Chargers.
Ding, ding, ding! Oh my God!
This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
I got like 2 or 3 wrong in a row. Come on.
No, you got one. You're like 5 of the last
This
6.
is the best record of ever.
Yeah, Scoop's
Damn.
cheating. Anyway, so
He's not. He recused himself for one of them.
I don't know why I keep doing this.
I
It's gonna tell
swear,
you
I swear to God, ask me the Bills Jets line. I just saw it come across my screen. Please, ask me the Bills Jets line. I just
Can
saw
we
it.
not do Bills Jets?
No, but I can excuse myself from that one if you guys want to do that one.
Oh Jesus. Yeah, Bills Jets, fine.
Bills
Scoop, what do you
minus.
think?
Oh,
Yeah, Scoop or
Um,
Shane, go ahead. Fine,
I
go
was gonna
ahead.
sorry, go
say.
ahead.
I was gonna say Bills minus 6.
Scoop,
Where's the game being played?
New Jersey.
MetLife.
New Jersey. Thank you for not saying New York.
Thank you, Iron Eagle.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? Um, Bills Jets. I feel like it should be much more, or rather, I feel like it should be more than this. But I'll say like 4.5 in favor. No, that's not. That's too small. I'll say 5.5 in favor of the Bills.
All right, Bills 6.5.
Yep.
So, damn. Okay, so as we like to do every time around this week, this is the first time we've done the show on the exact day, remembering 9/11. Brandon, you always the floor starts to you as it always does. So please go ahead and say your words here, remembering 9/11 for our post credit scene today.
You know, being from the area that I'm from, I mean, everybody knows, and I've said this in other shows in the past, but everybody knows somebody that was either involved in it, on that day, or survived it, or was there in the city and tried to get out that day, or whatever it was. But it's my grandfather, he tells me the story every year. He wasn't too close to it, but he was close enough to where he said he was doing a moving job in Brooklyn that day, and I mean all 5 boroughs just shut down, obviously, but he was doing a moving job in Brooklyn that day, and as they were finishing up the job, or I think close to the end of it, someone said, or someone said, hey, one of the towers just got hit by a plane. And my grandfather didn't think anything of it, as many people did. They thought maybe, hey, toy plane, small plane, nothing that would bring it down. And then as they were kind of finishing up, they're like, oh yeah, the second one hit, and they're like, oh wow. So they went to the roof of the building, and my grandfather literally said that guys from the roof of the building. He said he saw the second tower fall. You could actually see the second tower fall, and it was just poof up in smoke. He's like, nothing but smoke in the air, and and then after that point, it was just a mad scramble to try to get out of the city because no one knew what was going on. But when it comes to that day, it's obviously the 4 of us, we were only toddlers, newborns, infants, super young. Um, and so it's like we don't have any recollection of it. But when you live in this area, I mean, like you saw Adam put it in the chat that we can see across the Hudson River to where the Twin Towers were, right out of our backyard. So
Yeah, see the beams of light, which it was such an
yeah,
incredible view that Adam sent us.
yeah, and you can see it even when I'm at work and I'm down in the meadows, down in Lyndhurst. Um, you can it shines so bright. You can see both beams in the air as I'm working at night, and I mean, it's a nice touch that they do that every year for a whole week. They light up the sky for that, and but it's every time. It's like every year that we talk about this, it doesn't get any easier, and it's so hard to fathom that something like that could happen. I mean, anywhere, but in the U.S. and especially so close to home, like literally 20 minutes from my house, pretty much. Um, and it's just like it's a somber feeling even going into the city if you're near the ground zero and you're near um, the memorial and you kind of or even get the observation deck and you look out and you can see the city from the observation deck, like all these different things that they do to memorialize it, to kind of build back stronger. They but you almost feel, it almost feels surreal. Like you can really feel a somber feeling when you're there. And even at the memorial over there, walking through the exhibits and seeing the piece of clothing that they were able to recover and put in the exhibits from firefighters and police officers that lost their lives that day. And to there's one room in particular. I told Scoop about this on our pod earlier, but there was one room in particular where you could walk in. It was almost like a bunch of video boards and kind of like little like a podium plaque things that you could read. But it was a lot of video boards, and you could see. You walk into the room, and they're literally playing the audio calls of people calling their families saying they wouldn't come home.
Yeah.
And it's literally like I'll never forget hearing that, and I was just like, wow. Like I don't cry over many things. I like to consider myself a tougher kind of guy, but that was something where it was like you could feel the emotion there. Like it was something that always sticks in my mind being there, and you feel connected to what happened all those years ago, and it's it's such a somber feeling. I mean, one of my friends, well, you guys know Cass. Um, she told me today that they come across a man in a wheelchair. They were doing something to observe 9/11, and she had come across a man in a wheelchair, and who basically reached out, gave her a handshake, and said, "God bless you," and she said the same back to him. And then he turned around. I mean, 'cause there's plenty of places where there's memorials around this area for 9/11. He turned around, saluted it, and then went away. And she said that it stuck with her today. That it's like that you know people like that it's like they're one of the things that we kind of miss. Is like that kind of like that unity among our neighbors, especially at that time. Like that, everybody kind of came together in America, and for a second or two, we all felt it. We all, kind of, I guess, in a way, it was like the one time that it feels like that we were unified. And that's something that we're kind of missing, these days. But just that whole, day. And then you always hear people talk about that day saying that they knew something was off that day. They felt it or whatever it is, and there's you hear stories of people that work at the World Trade Center that had said oh, it was the only day, like they had never missed a day in however many years, and it was the one day they didn't go, and that happens, and it's like you can't even imagine how I mean, I don't know. For lack of a better word, it might sound maybe a little insensitive. You can't imagine how lucky that they feel, but they also but also a lot of them nowadays that are still with us. It's like a lot of them unfortunately have that survivor's guilt, where they lost friends, they lost colleagues, they lost people that they knew, that they literally had seen the day before, working alongside of them, or that night or whatever it was. And to 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 think about how devastating that was, and to think about just how close to home that hit for us here, it's something that we never forget here. But the whole country doesn't. That shook this country to the core. That changed the way that people go to sporting events, people get on a plane, people go about their daily lives and have to do the things that they do every day. That changed the course of not just the country but the world forever. So so when we talk about this day, it's definitely it can't be understated how important this day is to just American history, world history, but just to remember those that survived, and especially those that are no longer with us. That so many innocent people. There's so many and not just there, but people also forget about the third plane that was going to the White House, and God, if God, if that would have happened, who knows how we'd be living these days. Um, but their families and their loved ones too. So I know I'm long winded, but it's it's so important to just every year to hammer home the point that it's like that we stand with the people who lost people that day, and that we at the end of the day we're all Americans. We all feel for each other when it comes to any kind of tragedy, even the things that happened just this past week besides 9/11. And no one should have to whether it's 9/11 or anything should never have to lose a loved one to any kind of just horrific violence like that. Whether it be terrorism or domestic, whatever it is. And it's it's just a reminder that you know we we're coming out stronger now, but we can't forget where we've been, and that's it's important that we tell the people, that especially the people that have survived, even the people that have lost people from that day, hug each other a little tighter at night, because you never know, when that'll be the last time you see them. And it's just important to keep that in the back of our minds today and every day. But on days like today, on 9/11, it's it can't be understated how just important it is that we remember and keep everybody in our thoughts and prayers, because that's it's just you can't imagine what it must have been like then, and how and obviously we're sitting here 24 years later and how it's affected our lives now as young adults. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's important. It's important.
Yeah. Scoop, do you have any words?
I mean, it's hard to follow that. I do want to give a quick shout out, real quick, to my aunt who lived or lives in Manhattan, who was has lived in Manhattan that day, and I know personally lost people close to her on that day. I want to just recognize her in particular, because anybody in my family, she was definitely the one who was most directly. I mean, we all obviously were affected, but one most directly affected. And I've been to that memorial of, excuse me, of the 9/11 victims, and it is an experience, I think, that is worth taking in at some point in
Mhm.
your life if you haven't been. Um, it's I think the best way to phrase it is just it's an enriching experience, and it's something that I think you know um, is it's the only way I can put it is something that I think each person should understand for themselves, as have as going there. And again, my love and my prayers is with the people who not who lost their lives that day, and then with the people that they left behind. It was the way it was captured, really it's captured really well, honestly, in media, in songs like "Where Were You When the World Stopped Turning" by Alan Jackson, and other songs like it's and I mentioned that in particular just to say that I think that some of the ways it has been really, because we say never forget, but I think that the ways it's been captured in history, um, so that so we really don't forget, is particularly powerful and moving and impactful as well. So I also want to acknowledge the people who have been able to try and do that. As somebody who has not only read and heard the things that we're talking about with the clips of the survivors, but I've also heard the audio from some of the hijackers. I've heard audio
Mhm.
from Mo Atta, who was like the main ringleader of everything. I know a lot of the attention goes to Osama bin Laden, but Mo Atta was kind of considered the ringleader of those attacks. I've heard his on the and which the last words that most of those people heard. And it's uncomfortable, but it should be uncomfortable, because no discomfort that we can hear in trying to learn and understand these things pales in comparison to what those families had to deal with that day and have had to deal with ever since.
Yeah, definitely. Shane, do you have any words?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the impact from that day is definitely strongest, in the tri-state area. But it still was something that, kind of rang out into the rest of the country and even the rest of the world. Um, particularly in, the Western countries and whatnot. I mean, even all the way out here in Washington, it's, my mom told me that, she heard about it on the news, and my dad, he was a tower crane operator, and he was working on a building next to the Columbia Tower, which is the tallest building in Seattle. And she, this was before cell phones and social media or whatever, and she was trying to somehow get a hold of my dad and tell him to get out of the crane because it's like he's right next to this tall building. And I mean, at that point, it's like they didn't know. I mean, it's like, okay, the Twin Towers have been a target, so was the, one crashed into the Pentagon, and there was also the fourth plane that crashed into the field in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, nobody knew just how far it would go. Thankfully it wasn't any more than that, but still, I mean, that was just, it was still too much as is. And it's just the fear that it caused around the country and around the world, really. And then also the resiliency that it showed, how people can, in our darkest moments, lift each other up, rally around each other. And, I think that's something that we really need right now. Not that I am suggesting we need an event like this, absolutely not, but it's just that kind of unity, that sense of being together that we felt at that moment. And yeah, and I mean, especially this week has just felt very very dark, very tense between today, obviously, and then yesterday, of course, with the Charlie Kirk being killed, and the school shooting in Colorado, and someone, I think it was either this morning or last night, was beheaded in Dallas. It's just like, what is going on?
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is there's just been so many.
That's what's so sad, is there's so much of it you sometimes can't keep up.
Yeah.
Awful.
And I mean, like with Kirk, I mean, say what you want about the guy. I didn't necessarily care for him, but like, at the end of the day, dude was a husband, a father, a son, and having all those hundreds or thousands of people that were there to, I don't know if you guys saw the video, but I didn't mean to see it. It just,
Yeah.
I did see it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's awful. The fact that all those people had to see that and be there for that. And, it's just stuff like that. It's, and of course the school shooting yesterday. And like, we all need to just take a breath and realize that, we have differences, and that's okay.
Yeah. For sure.
The four of us, we talk politics. I'm not going to say who believes in what, but we all have very different beliefs, and we talk about it all the time. But you know what?
Yeah.
We don't give a shit.
And yet we still come together, and absolutely.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we all realize, or I mean, we know that we're all good dudes, and
Yeah.
you know, so what? This guy feels this way about him, and I can't stand that guy, but whatever. Like, it's his opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it matter at the end of the day? No. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I just, I guess on a day like this, I just think about that more, and it's just, I really would love for not only for the country, but just for the world in general to be at a more positive place. I mean, that seems like a dream at this point, but it's definitely, it'll always be something that I think about and
Right.
hope we'll get someday.
Yeah. Yeah.
May I?
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, please go ahead, Scoop. Please, absolutely.
I wanted to respond to Shane real quick, and Brandon, I said this to you earlier. I think I said this to you and Jay earlier.
Yeah.
But I think back to. I mean, obviously, I don't remember it firsthand, but I know of, in the aftermath of what happened on 9/11. We know about the Yankee Mets games and the President Bush throwing out the first pitch, and Derek Jeter saying, "Don't bounce it, they'll boo you." And the way that things were able to act as unifiers, many of two of the main ones being sports and music and things of that nature that continue to still try and act as some of those same things today. And I just want to mention, and you talked about the four of us, and I thank God that the four of us are able to spend a day doing this, and a show like this, together the four of us about because we're in different parts of the country. We've lived such different lives. I mean, I didn't even know a couple of y'all until very recently, and but our love of football and our passion for doing shows and things of that nature, and our knowledge and all of that allowed us to be doing a show like this around one of the great unifiers that also helped the country that day and in the aftermath of that. So I just wanted to bring that up as well, because it always means a lot to be on the show, but it damn sure means more tonight.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
Amen to
thank
that,
you all
brother.
and thank you all for your kind words. This is something that we try to do, or not even try. We make sure we do every year. I think this is the first time we've done it on the day. And obviously we'll do it on Thursday next year as well. But but it's just something I think we always pride ourselves in, just taking a moment to talk about this and put our words together. And it's a really tough day for the country. And I think just seeing the beams of light today, it's just something that is just, it has this strong emotional feeling, and it's always good to kind of get that out on the show, but also just engage in kind of a unity in what has been a difficult week, but also a difficult day. So I thank you all for your kind words, and that is how we will finish today. For Brandon, Scoop, Shane, and myself, we will see you back here on Sunday night after Sunday Night Football. As always, we'll see you all then.
Okay, everybody.
Take care,
Night,
everybody.
y'all. God bless.